first Sunday in April. Doesn't really mean anything, but this is where we are today. Welcome to Today at the Races. Of course, I am Callie Francois along with Keith Fustel. Now, if you missed races yesterday and you were checking the charts, you were taking a look at these prices and said, "Is this an April Fool's joke?" No, it wasn't. We had plenty of prices yesterday. At least half the card, if not over 5 out of the 9 races, double-digit winners. Keith, once the second race hit, I had a feeling it was going to go this way. I just put my hands up and said, "Hey, let's just let the day take away."
Yeah, I tell you. I thought Golden Gully got away at a really good price, paid $24. I know I didn't have that on my picks. My picks were awful yesterday. No way you can cut it any way you want it. They were
fine.
bad.
Yeah.
At least my value play ran pretty good. I did catch that exactly because it did a little wheel-o top and bottom. That played good with the Mancia horse early. But, hey, early pick four yesterday, basically 7,000. Early pick 5, one lucky winner, 40,000 and change. Wow. Late pick 5, 56.24. Prices galore. Yeah, we had that little lull on Friday and Saturday with a bang with all the weather. We had, four or five different types of tracks. It started sloppy and sealed, muddy and sealed, good and sealed, good and harrowed. Today we're going to have a fast track with that wind drying everything out.
Absolutely. Gusty winds yesterday and last night makes it up for it. Still have a little bit of wind going on out there at the track today. Nothing as much as what it was last night. We'll see how the day goes away. But like you said, a fast track, and it's going to stay that way. We are not going to get any deviations. Look how green that grass is getting, that turf is getting for our turf season coming up. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, it's coming up quickly. Maybe a couple of weeks, I would think, in that range, a week or two. And, it's coming in nicely. And thanks to everybody else who kind of joined along and bet on our card yesterday. Our handle was really strong, up over 30%. We tailed just a little bit late. You're going into the teeth of those bigger races at Gulfstream and Oaklawn. But, man, we were solid pretty much the entire day. So thanks for taking part in our race card. We appreciate that. And if you can kind of jump right back in today with both hands, that'd be good too.
Absolutely. And we do have some races that make some interesting setups here today, starting in the first race in this maiden claiming 12-5, going 6 furlongs here on the dirt for 3, 4, and 5-year-old girls. Yeah. Let's go right away to Thunder Boss. Welcome. Back, Sheldon Russell back in the saddle for Brittany Russell here, 8 to 5 in the morning line, 8 to 5 right now.
Brittany going to put a little leg up to Sheldon on a 8 to 5 shot, maybe on the return to get it done, right? That's what I'm hoping. Thunder Boss's numbers have regressed quite a bit the last couple races, but this jam job and the speed advantage that she holds against this field, I think if she breaks cleanly, she'll have a comfortable run up on the front end and get it done at a shorter price. I thought despite the gin, you got this one right. Maybe we'll still, because of the connections, get a bigger price. Bobby Bummer will hit with some prices along the way, year in and year out. He's good for a couple. Checked at the half, steadied at the 3/8. Still had enough courage to come on behind Holy Delight, who kind of got burned up a little bit yesterday, but closed in willingly, gets an extra 16th of a mile today. You're right. I agree with you. That's a price user in the opener in those exactas and trifectas.
It's a solid exacta box. I love myself an exacta box, and that's kind of, especially with the price, with the trip that one got, no question about it. Those are my two big takeaways for that race in the first, Keith.
Yeah, good stories. I think tries. 0 for 14, gives an effort, doesn't have that big punch. We'll need a little bit of a meltdown maybe up front to kind of get on past Lake Coffee Bean. We'll get position early. Jorge Hernandez with a big price yesterday. Congrats to him. He doesn't get a lot of mounts. We're rooting for him. Yep. But when he wins, man, his ROI, you're making money if you're betting on his mounts. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. Keith Fusel goes 6, 7, 1, 2 there in the first. And in the second starts the early pick 4. As you mentioned, Keith, pretty good payout on that. Let's see how your ticket looks like for today.
Yeah, cheapo ticket, $18.
Fine.
1, 4, 6. Oxeye will take a slew of play. We got the scratch if can't pass it up, part of the entry. And the 3, Honor the Fleet. So Oxide, I'm still a little leery in mile 16th. We'll see. Holding pretty good form for Kieran. Race 3, 2 deep. 6 and 7. They're going to take the majority of the play. If you're going to lean maybe a little over the top horse, maybe Rascally Rebel. You toss the last. It might close into it if things get heated up front. Race 4. We're going to go with 2 horses in there. Lily Moore, Naughty Down. There's Russell again with a maiden claimer favorite, even money on the morning line. Scratch the 7. Let's make a zine and wrap it up. 3, 4, and 5 in the 5th. Clubman, the horse to beat the way he ran last time. He got a great setup. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I'll toss in Bobby G and Spotted Bull. We ran a big effort at 7/8 of them. I had a little help up front tracking that duel. But, yeah, we'll see. Brittany with these maidens, I mean, just talking about the horse in the first race, a little stat, go back to Thunder Boss. The last 2 years, 50% with these horses making these kind of drops. So, tough to get past.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely. Race number 2 is as we talked about
Yes.
race number 2, we do have just a little. We had a little bit of a technical issue earlier this week, Keith, when you were just entering those morning line odds in. So let's go over that one more time, starting with a couple of these horses.
Yeah, just from the top down. You know, that entry, now scratch the 1, can't pass it up, it'd be 3-1 morning line. Off the meds at 20. Under the fleet, who's now scratch, would have been 2. 12 on Motogali, a Badger Tooth at 6, and 8-5 favorite will be lower than that now is Oxide. Sorry for that little hiccup, but we got it corrected, and we'll probably run a scroll and run this again. So it was pretty obvious, you know,
Yes.
anybody would have noticed. So yeah, I don't think I was going to whiff that bad, but it happens.
No worries.
Okay.
And race 2 does start that first leg of early pick 4 in this claiming 8,000, going a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. As you mentioned, Keith, scratch in the 1, can't pass it up, and scratch in the 3, big scratch in honor of the fleet. You, myself, and Tim Tulloch all land on the number 6. We're kind of gearing on that mile and 16th, working for Oxide here today. Kieran McGee, Carol Cedeno on top.
Yeah, you know, he may be pushed to the limit here. I think the trip will be fairly comfortable. He could go to the front. I think Motogali with Rodriguez, I think he's going to try to get aggressive. This horse has had some speed in the past, hasn't really shown it of late, but if he's going to have any chance today, it's going to go ahead and go. So Oxide will be able to prompt. I'm not worried about it. It's a shorter field, the outside draw. We'll be able to prompt. Hopefully get command around that final turn and hold off a closer like the 1A Northern Thunder, who kind of chased with a wider trip last time, caught 6 wide at the quarter. There's some races on the page that certainly work. A 3-back 84 would completely do this. We'll see if he can come back to that. But Oxide looks going to be tough to deny. He looks like he's got to be 1-2 in there.
It's tough to deny. That's a good way to word it. But I won't be. Let's see. I just won't be surprised if something else just kind of pops up there out of nowhere. So there we go. Keith Fuseli goes 6, 1A, 4, 5 there in the first leg of the early pick 4. The second leg is race number 3 in this claiming 12-5. It also starts the Rainbow Pick 6. I go 2 deep to begin this structure today. Race number 4, I go 1, 3, and 6. Race number 5 is where I could single on Clubmen. But again, to me, one of those races that anything could happen. So I go 4 wide, 3, 4, 5, 7. Single in. I decide to single in the next race in the 6 with a big scratch in the 2, the 3 Galatians. It opens it up, I think, a little bit for Galatians to maybe get some advantage there. Today, race number 7. I go 3 deep, 2, 3, and 6 in that allowance optional claiming 40. I thought about it could be obvious to single on Proper Tire, but man, those 2 Trombetta horses are just looking really, really nice coming into this race in Combat Queen and Golden Effect. And in race number 8, last race of the day and last race of the weekend, I go 2 deep with the 2 and the 5 Little Spinner Fashionista. I would go a bit wider in that race if it's an option for you, just because it's a maiden claiming 30. I think there's a lot of things that could happen in that race today. So a $28.80 ticket to get things moving right along here in race number 3. And race number 3 is a claiming 12-5, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-olds. Keith, you and I both land on the outside. Shack in the box for Damon Dilo DeVico gets J. Ron Barbosa.
Yeah, on a steep drop here from the allowance, optional allowance down to the 12-5. We've got a video here, and Shack in a box. This is going back to the last sprint over this racetrack. Rode the better part of the racetrack that day, gets in a ding-dong battle basically from mid-turn to the wire with B. West, and is going to gut it out here to kind of edge away by 3 parts of a length. A little drift there, but definitely game to the wire. Decent try of the allowance. The Parks race, broke okay. I had watched that race. I think I was up at Greenmount watching the races that day on the 23rd. Kind of rated back a little bit, and that was it. It was over. On that racetrack, you could not make any ground. I mean, very, very few horses closed in on that racetrack. So
Let alone a ship in.
Yeah, that was it, right? And shipping in, no conventional horse come back, and I think is a stakes type now. So Shack in the Box, yeah, it's a little dangerous here, a little risky. You're wondering, man, this is a big jam on a horse that showed some heart. Yeah, I think he can just kind of relax just off of it because you're going to see a couple horses, I believe, send a little sooner. The two, Imagine the Cure, even Calvary Command. Freddiness likes to be forward. So he should be lurking somewhere mid-turn and try to get over the top.
There we go. Keith used to go 7-6-4-1 there in the second leg of the early pick four. In the third leg is race number 4 in this maiden claiming 12-5. Scratching the number 7. Let's make a Zen. Talk about your top selection. I had this one in my exacta on the rail. Lily Moore. Hugh McMahon gets the blinkers on, and Axel Concepcion, who had a pretty decent day the other day.
Yeah, 6-horse, the obvious user here in Dottie Down off the number 32 Byers is kind of exceeding everything in the race off the last. Has a 43 on the page, goes third off a little bit of a break. Just take a shot. Lily Moore, I thought, ran pretty good at Charlestown. I mean, maybe not quite as strong as a field, but got into contention very early, was a little uncomfortable down inside, and the jock had to steady ease back out of it into the turn, and you see that a lot with horses at Charlestown into that turn. Was able to kind of regroup, waited a little bit, made a splitting move mid-stretch, and dropped in the rally. I think the blinker's going on. Lily Moore's best chance is going to go right to the front.
Okay, there we go. Yep. There we have it. And then the number 6 on the outside. We kind of touched in, nodding in. Again, the obvious with the drop down here. Steady performance from Toledo. Just enough. Press the pace up there. Overall, I think I'm just taking a look at this her overall story so far, and that was kind of really the first time she was engaged and sustained that engagement. So I think she just got a little bit tired. Just seems to be the type that needed a couple of races regardless. So on top of that, we get the drop down here today, and Toledo, of course.
There you go. Waverly, a user, I think will be able to kind of just sit inside, wait, and make a move into it. I was going to use the 7 as a bomb price. We'll wait another day for that. 1-6-2-8. Yeah, 6 to horse to beat. One's your value shot in there.
Let's see what other value we can have for the rest of this Sunday's race card after this commercial break.
And they're off.
We're back, going from a sprint to a route in race number 5, the 1-turn mile, and a starter optional claiming 20,000 for the 3-year-olds and up. Let's go ahead and take a look at our top selection at 9-5 on Clubman last time out, in that stellar performance, going around 2 turns this time.
2 really good trips, really good ride. 2 races back on February 20th by the X-Man. He's back again, and last time out got a really good quick flow to relax off of, and just starts ramping it up about 4 wide here, and just keeps on going. I tell you, Clubman right now at the age of 9, it's kind of scary to see how good he's going. But
I love it.
He's just rocking and rolling. Look at him.
Just a guy. He's just like, yep, doing my job. Get out of my way. This is my game. This is my show. So you have to, as a 9-year-old, you just have to appreciate and love that. This is a horse who loves his job. So really, really enjoy seeing that. So the obvious go for, but let's talk about a couple of others in these races. You just go with Bobby G for David Mohan, Charlie Marquez, getting back to this 1-turn mile. The same setup. Starter optional, 1-turn mile. Charlie Marquez, last time that happened, pretty decent effort.
Busy Bobby G, they call him,
yes.
Right? He doesn't miss a beat. He's out there. he's like the man. You know he's going to show up. I mean, last time out, that was a much tougher field overall than what he's facing today. Clubman, sharp as he is right now, probably could have been competitive in there, no doubt. But, slower flow, sloppy track. I'll forgive him for that race. You talked about it. This is a horse that likes the 1-turn mile. He can sit just off of. There's a little pace in here again, which is going to set things up, I believe, for Clubman. The King Cheek is back. Maybe gets a fast track. Might take it a little bit further today, but I don't think Spotted Bull, Jason Takes Longer, going to be too far out of it. So Bobby G getting, I think, a good towards the inside type of trip, can definitely rally into it and pose a major threat to Clubman today. But Robbie Bales, you talk about Robbie year in and year out, the stat, winners last out. he's been very consistent with that. When they get moving, they keep winning. They hold their form well. So good job by Robbie and company. But Clubman, you're rooting for a horse like this at 9 years old.
Just to kind of stabilize those stats, as of recently, 36% in winning last race for Robbie Bales. So why not go for it? Keith Fusel, 3, 4, 5, and 1A. Race number 6 is claiming 5,000, going a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds, and up scratch in the number 2 Southern Bridge. As I mentioned, a big scratch. Keith, you go with Titans Will on the inside. John Salzman Jr. gets J. Ron Barbosa, going to try and steal it on the inside rail.
I guess I'm a glutton for punishment right now.
Yes, you are.
I've chased Titans Will, and I can't remember. He might have been a recent scratch or not, but he was entered.
Yes.
You've got speed, you've got the rail, you've got first off the claim, and a smaller sample for Salzman Jr. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I got the inside speed. I'm going to take a shot. 3 for 7 with a 343 ROI. They don't claim a ton, but when they do, they win right off the bat. Let's get to the front. You're going to know. I mean, he's going to get to the front, I think, against this group. If they converge early, we're in trouble. Hopefully he can separate and go on maybe like an Acadian girl kind of a trip we're going to need like yesterday. But, yeah, there's your shot. I agree with you, Galatians. Galatians now with the scratch of Southern Bridge. Maybe you think he's the reliable one. I thought he ran very well last time out. He was 4 wide into the first turn. He was 3 wide. Then he had a couple different moves. So this effort, gives us some hope. Velvet Ghost, a horse that we know has gone on and done well, Cal.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and especially when you talk, I'm thinking about your top selection and what your top selection is going to do. And Galatians is just sitting right to the outside of him. Hello, he can just track that one and just make the trip easier on himself. I specifically like Karamanos on this horse as well. Typically, Karamanos can get some good results out of this horse. And the big thing is, as long as you're not too far out of it in that first quarter of a mile, you just need to sit pretty and let the horse do its job, because he'll take care of the rest of it, really.
Yeah, you got a couple other horses, including like Vinny, that might go ahead and try to go out and force it. Bahama Channel does his best work from on or just off the pace. So you're right, Galatians with that post. He's shown tactical speed in the past, could flow right up behind those leaders and roll by. Good effort, Velvet Ghost, like I say, an in-form horse, running well in starters.
There we go. Race number 7 is this allowance optional, claiming 40,000, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the girls. 3 years old and up, scratch in the number 4, respectfully. Let's go ahead and take a look at our shared top selection, Proper Attire, and that was in that last effort out, a really stunning, gutsy starter optional.
Yeah, just able to kind of hound Spicy Margarita this particular afternoon. Now, she has kind of been with the grain of the racetrack, the way the track had been playing her last 2 efforts on January the 16th and February the 18th. It's kind of a inside day on the 16th of January, this particular day, the 18th. Speed was pretty deadly. Speed's always good, but it was even stronger, I thought, on the 18th. But she does it with something in reserve. X-Man gets on her beautifully. Rob, they got her in really, really good form. Here's Peyton Elizabeth. Next out winner comes running. She gets a major assist with the scratch of the 4, respectfully, who was jumping a condition, but I thought could pose a serious threat up front to force that issue and maybe keep her a little uncomfortable down to the inside.
Agreed.
Respectfully, he's out. Proper Tire with a good break. The raid goes through her.
Let's talk about the Trombetta horses. You and I both have Combat Queen right underneath. Just a run from the Conover last time out. Returns back here to this optional claiming 40, which is fine. This is the type of level that I would love to see this filly stay at for a little bit before trying stakes action again. What I love is that 2 back, she was really able to come off the pace, make a little bit of showing, as she that was her kind of changing up some tactics a little bit. So I'll be interested to see how she plays things up today.
Yeah, if you're going to project a little bit, 3rd off the break, it's been an okay move for this barn, right? She closed into that loose leader beneath the stars, and then a decent move into the pretty sharp pace at 7/8. I know she only has the 1 win at the 6, but maybe I think it still might be a little bit better for her, this situation at the time right now. So you're right. I think she can save ground. I think her best, looks like she's hedging back towards one of her top figures. She's going to need to get it if she's going to beat Proper Attire. And Golden Effect in very good form right now. She's going to be able to kind of get that stalking trip again with Respectfully Out. Stand By You has no speed, so she'll be out there 2 and 3 wide prompting the pace. And she can turn on. Very good effort when altering course last time out.
You know, I may want to give a little bit more credit to Golden Effect, and especially with the trip that one had at the 5.5 last time out. Just had a little bit of bumper action around there. Nothing too crazy, but still had to alter a little bit. Went up the rail. So you take a look prior to that last effort at the 5.5. You're saying, this one needs to stick around to the 7 furlong, 8 furlong, where this one normally wins. But I think with the way she's been going today, that 6 furlongs is just going to hit her really, really nice and be able to give a nice flashy finish to maybe, depending on how the speed goes today. I think with that off track that we had yesterday, speed's going to go just fine for proper attire today. But Golden Effect might have something to say about that in the last 16th of the race.
Is it tight? This feels close.
Tight.
I mean,
Yes.
Proper Tire can't miss a beat really out of the gate. I'm getting there's holding very good form. This is a horse that turning back at distance, she's going to be dulled a little bit, but she's shown she kind of works with these horses. So Stand By You is the outsider, but you know what about Stand By You? She looks like a one-run sprinter. The route, that's not her game.
Right.
So if things get really crazy, she would be no surprise to rally into this and catch a piece. So
Race I'm looking most forward to is that 7th race. Race number 8 to wrap things up for this weekend is a maiden claiming 30,000, going 6 furlongs on the dirt here for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old girls. Scratching the number 4, Spun in a Million. Keith, you land on the number 2. Little spinner for Rudy Sanchez-Selman. Why not? Barnes heating up. Jean Avello gets back in the saddle. Decent effort, 2 back when Avello was in the saddle.
Yeah, and an excuse last time. I went and watched it again. It's a key race. 6 the hard way, came back to win. Hide right away, just missed. Yesterday, a big try there. So King up against the right kind of horse. A little spinner last out on March the 17th. Broke a step slow, kind of bounced around with a horse. He sent her up, tried to get some, get position, and she had to tap the brakes. That was it. I mean, pushed out wide for the stretch. Just didn't really fire at all. I think with this better break today, you got Alvelo. She'll be able to kind of get up there and stalk. I think the 1 is dangerous here on the front end, though. Second time Lasik, second off of a break. Got chewed up in a little bit of a quick flow last time. I think she sensed. I mean, Black Diamond Rain might have something to say about that. Coming off a little break with the Lasix, not the cleanest of trips at Charlestown, but willing to the finish. But it set sail from the rail.
There we go. Set sail from the rail and set sail for the rest of the weekend as Keith and I are going to take off, and we are going to head on over to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches.
Good luck.